All right, you guys, let's get right into the show. Hopefully, all is well with you guys. I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. This is the Recruiting Live Show. So if you're joining us live or if you're joining us watching the recording, welcome. Thank you for spending some time with us. This is intended for you. You know, whether you're a student athlete that's trying to get to the bag, whether you're a parent of a student athlete that's trying to help them get to the bag, maybe you're a coach and you want some of your athletes to have more college opportunities, this is for you. So every Tuesday, you guys, we come on in here. We're going to bring in guests. We're going to bring in coaches, but it's all to serve you that want to get to the next level. College football recruiting show every single Tuesday. I already see the great family from Texas, the Munoz family joining us. That's Ernest, Marco, Lisa. Thank you guys. King, thank you guys for joining us. Great football family. And then the great Coach Foss says, let's do this, Coach, as always, holding us down. If you're a part of our program, you know Coach Foss. And if you're not, you need to get to know Coach Foss. So let's get into it, you guys. We want to be all about business. You guys got a million things on your plate, and obviously college is one of the things that many of you are starting to think about, especially you 2024 athletes, you seniors out there. This is an important time for you. So if you join us every single Tuesday, that's going to lead you closer to where you want to be, okay, which is that scholarship offer. So let's get right into it, you guys. Once again, I am your host, Coach Terrence Wood. I am going to come in here every single Tuesday, you guys, put my heart on the table so that you guys can know what you need to know, whether your coach has options for you or he doesn't. You know, we're going to make sure that you're taken care of. So I'm your host. I am a former player myself. I played at the University of Colorado and professionally in the Arena Football League and in Canada. Our program is Before You Go Pro. Some of the athletes, you guys, that you see right here are young men that we've helped throughout the years. The young man that you see on the bottom row that has the football and he's playing for San Jose State, that young man is Elijah Cooks. Right now, he's a Jacksonville Jaguar, you know. So this is a journey, you guys. This is a journey, and we want to help take you through it, okay? Who is this for? Who is the Recruiting Live Show for, you guys? You see this young man right here. He's happy. He's signing. He's going to Northwestern, a transformational university. If you go to Northwestern, that's like an East Coast Stanford. So you really have the chance to transform your life. I want you to experience something like this. That's who this is for. If you are a young man that wants to experience signing your own college football scholarship, having mom and dad proud of you, going off to play football at the next level, then that's who this is for. I'm talking to the right person, okay? And like I said, you guys, this is a journey. This is a journey. Now, we're always going to highlight and showcase our own with Before You Go Pro. And this young man that you see right here on the screen, his name is Jacob De Jesus, and 5'7". You guys, that's the beautiful thing about football is not everybody has to be over 6 foot. But since he was 5'7", guess what? He was discounted. He was pushed to the side. He was put on the back burner. He's always been a dog. From the first time I saw him, I met him when he was a sophomore in high school. The team that you see in green on the far left, that's Manteca High School, small school, you guys, in California. So he was overlooked. I see the Manu family coming on in from Nevada. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are locked in. Love Tip, love the family. Junior, thank you for joining us. And please share this with any teammates, you guys, that are serious about getting to the next level. So Jacob right here was was counted out, you guys. We knew from day one, and this is very important in the football industry, is that you get an evaluation and that you become confident with your own talent. The good thing about Jacob is he's always been humble and he's always been confident about his own talent, even when he was discounted, okay? So during his journey, you guys, he had to go to junior college. And the school that you see in the middle, that's Monterey JC, he had to go to JC for him to get where he felt he deserved to be. Always produced, always a dog, always had touchdowns and receptions. He's a wide receiver. But now you see where he's at. He's playing for UNLV, scored a touchdown last weekend. He's one of their bright stars. You see the title at the top. Jacob De Jesus, emerging star for UNLV after practice, after their training camp. So it's a journey, you guys, and the journey doesn't always involve a red carpet. It doesn't always involve whipped cream and cherries. Sometimes you may have to pivot over here and go to a junior college like Jacob, but we're going to figure that out together. If you join us every Tuesday, we're going to figure that out together. So as you guys navigate your college football recruiting experience, you're going to want to have help from people that are backed, that are AAA certified, that really have street credentials, so to speak. So right here, you see Coach Cormier. He's currently at Division I Ball State. He's saying, Terrence, that's me, Coach Wood, is somebody that I've known for almost 30 years now. I've known Coach Cormier since we were teenagers, okay? He is very passionate about helping young people reach their goals. I feel that Before You Go Pro is a great tool for any athlete or parent of an athlete who has inspirations of playing college football. So that's not from me. That's from Coach Cormier. He coaches on Saturdays on TV. That's from him. You guys can take it for what it's worth, okay? Another thing that you're going to find out that you need when you're trying to get to the bag, when you're trying to get maybe a full ride college football scholarship or maybe even a preferred walk-on opportunity, is you're going to need relationships. If you haven't already subscribed, you guys, you need to subscribe to the Before You Go Pro channel ASAP, especially if you are an athlete or you're a parent of an athlete or a coach, okay? You need to subscribe ASAP. We've got the Locker Room Show right here. You can see Coach Rondo. Coach Rondo is a dear friend of mine. Coach Rondo is the head coach at Pace University. Pace University, you guys, is $50,000 a year. It's a Division II school. So it's an amazing university. It's right outside of New York. They practice sometimes where the Jets practice. So if you're really big and bad, the Jet Scouts are right there, you guys. So an amazing university. And we know Coach Rondo, he's a big believer, just like Coach Cormier, in the Before You Go Pro program. Some of you kids that think you may be Division I, Power 5 level status, here's another version of the type of people we bring into the Locker Room Show. This is Coach Fuller. He's director of football relations at Florida State, dear friend of the program. We can definitely reach out to him and make sure that you're taken care of, okay? So you want to make sure that people have relationships and leverage, you guys. Relationships and leverage. I'm about to tell you the things that need to be in place that are going to help you get to that scholarship that you're working so hard for. I see some people in the comments. We've got the great Michelle. This is a new family, a new Before You Go Pro family. Thank you for joining us. The Simcox family is listening. And every Tuesday, Michelle, every Tuesday during the recruiting period, from basically the early signing period in December through February, we'll be right here rocking and rolling. J Rock says, yes, embrace the journey for sure. And know God already has a plan for you. No doubt, J Rock, on that. And Manu family. So let's get back into it, you guys. So I'm giving you the tidbits. I'm giving you the things that you want to make sure you check off, the boxes to make sure that you get to that offer. So leverage and relationship, those relationships. Now it could be your coach. You know, maybe you come from a school that produces, so it could be your coach. It could be your dad or your brother that played big time ball. So give me some relationships and leverage. It could be just like the Simcox family, because you're with us, okay, right? Because I just showed you how we have coaches and have access. So you guys, the other thing that you always are going to hear me talk about is the recruiting calendar. There's things I can do to help. There's things my team can do to help. There's things that we cannot help with. And if you're off and not paying attention to the recruiting calendar, then we can't help you. But we're always going to talk about it so that you know about it, you're aware, and you can study it. Once again, you're going to go to ncaa.org. Get familiar with that website. It should be saved on your browser if you're serious about getting a scholarship. Down there at the bottom, you guys see that, www.ncaa.org. And then right here, evaluation period, light blue, North Carolina blue right there. September, October, November. This is the evaluation period. We are in the midst of it. So if you're a 2024 athlete, Manu family, Simcox family, we know we've got the Filia family, Lincoln throwing the ball out there in San Antonio. If you're a 2024 athlete, you're on the clock. Like they say in the NFL draft, you're on the clock. Your class is definitely on the clock. You should be here every Tuesday if you're on that deal. So this is what you need to really be dialed into. Early periods, December 20th through the 22nd. And then you've got the later period, okay, which is the regular period in February, which you see under the line. February. Now that goes all the way till April if you're a 2024 kid going D1. It goes all the way till August if you're D2, D3, or NAIA. So sometimes we're a little emotional because we're looking in this kid's lane and he's been signed since the early signing period. And I know I'm better than him because I had a better game than him. But maybe I'm going D2 because I'm a little bit smaller. Even though I balled out on him, I'm a smaller running back. So I'm going D2 and I get a little frustrated during the regular signing period because I'm not signed yet. Well, right there, I'm showing you the rules are you can sign all the way till August. You can sign all the way up until almost training camp, you guys, and still go off and play some D2 ball, some D3 ball, some NAIA ball. So do not worry about somebody else's situation. Just focus on the timeline. The timeline is going to tell you where we're at. Now, if you feel like you're a D1 athlete, then we may need to get going. So once again, what are we talking about, you guys? We talked relationships and leverage, right? Then we talked timeline, right? And then right here is the success triangle. So if I have relationships, if I have some leverage, if I'm on track with the timeline, then this is it. This is it. All I need to do is make sure I'm showing up on Friday or Saturday. That means the film at the top. That's why it's at the top, because they're not going to care about your grades if your film isn't nice. So let's call a spade a spade. So the film is at the top, and then character and grades support the film. Your character and grades hold you up. I like your film. I'm Coach Fuller at Florida State. Coach Wood calls me, says, hey, I got a dog for you. He says, hey, send me the film. So now I'm evaluating you as Coach Fuller. I like the film. So now I'm passing it up the ladder. Everything goes up a ladder. This is like Hollywood. Somebody may scout you, but it got to go all the way up to the director, baby. So it's going to go up the ladder, you guys. And then when it gets up the ladder, this is what's holding up the coach's opinion. This is what's holding up his debate, is your grades and your character. If the film is hot and the grades and the character are hot, you're in the ballpark, buddy. You're in the ballpark, baby. So now I'm in the ballpark because what? I've got relationships. Now, once again, these relationships that are getting me seen, are because I'm at the right school, because I got the right dad or brother or cousin. It's because I got the right trainer, quarterback trainer, DB trainer, receiver trainer, O-line trainer. It's because I'm with Before You Go Pro. So I've got my relationships check. Now I know I'm right with the calendar. Check. Now I got the film and the grades to hold me up. Check. I'm good to go. So you guys are good right there. Now here's the variables. We've talked about variables before, and we're about to get into one of our own athletes. So you guys, as we always do every Tuesday, so you can see how we're working through things with his particular situation. So I've talked to you guys about variables. These are the things, you guys, that are going to come into play, no doubt. And I see one of my old high school friends, man, Jeremy Epps, coming in here, man. Thanks for checking up on me. Good stuff, T. Proud of you. Keep giving the kids the info. We're giving them the salt. This is somebody I went to a college prep school. He was a great basketball player. He went to school with me in high school, checking us out. So thanks for coming in, Jay. Definitely, we need to catch up, man. So core GPA, huddle film, athlete size, your position, industry relationships. Coach Wood has some industry relationships for you. Current interest, family background, your school, coach feedback. All of these things come into play when players are being recruited. Why does that come into play, Coach Wood? Why do all those things come into play? Even maybe your mom and dad's social media may come into play. Why do all these things come into play? Because we're talking about dollars. We're talking about dollars. And people don't want to mess up when they're talking about dollars, okay? So if Coach Fuller, if Coach Rondo at Pace want to give you some money, and they've given our athletes money before, they do not want to mess up. So they've got to look at all the variables. Now, last week, and if you weren't with us last week and you're in this type of realm where you're looking for some scholarship money, you need to look back on our previous Recruiting Live episodes, because it's going to uncover a puzzle for you that's going to help you piece some things together. So last week we talked about Malik, amazing student athlete. Now, the big thing we talked about with Malik, you guys, was that we had our evaluation of Malik, but we also knew he had current interest. Now, our evaluation of Malik aligned with his current interest, so it was all good. But we don't want to go backwards. We don't want to have a kid that's getting a FCS offer, a D1 offer, and then we're talking to him about D3s. You know, let's go forward here. So everything, you guys, is a part of the variables, and one of the variables from Malik that we looked at was that he already had current interest. So we kind of had a starting point with him. And I talked to you about his situation last week. So if you may be a D lineman, you want to hear about his situation, maybe you're down south in Georgia like Malik, you see his GPA, you see his size, you see his offers, you can go back and check that out. But tonight, we're going to talk about one of our other D linemen. This is one of my new babies. Well, actually, he's not new. He's new to officially signing up with the program, but we actually have college tours. And I've known about young Mikey for a while, and he's been on our college tours. So he needed some recruiting support. He's new to officially getting recruiting support, but he's not new to me and our program. And there's some special things. So with Mike, you see right here what he's got going on, you guys. Balboa High School in California, 6'4", 235 pounds. So that's Division one size. Didn't get to look up his official grades before we got on tonight, but he's in that 2.831 range, around there. He's got one offer, you guys. He's got one Division III offer. Okay. So like I said, every single week, if you're joining us for the first time, whether live or recorded, we're going to give some advice at the beginning of the recruiting. We may bring in some special guests, but we're going to talk over one of our own athletes and let you hear their situation, how we're working through their particular situation. You guys can be a fly on the wall, hopefully pick up some things that are tangible and that you can execute on. If you guys have questions, we do live Q&A at the end in the comment section. So Michael is at Balboa High in San Francisco. That's in California. He's in the city, and you see what he's got going on here. So let me show you his film so you can get a little bit more of a view. I like to show some film in here so you guys can get your own perspective. Here you go. Okay, so you guys can see Mike is pretty talented, and once again, he has Division I size. So when a young man walks through the door, that's one thing a coach is going to notice if the kid has Division I size. So he does. So you guys, obviously, the film looks good. Mike is a great young talent. But you always have to dig deeper, because if you don't dig deeper, then you don't know how to proceed with somebody's recruiting situation. Not everybody's in the same situation, and a lot of times we just try to paint a wide brush on somebody's recruiting process. And you may have to go about this young man's process different than this young man's process. And that's why people don't get what they want a lot of times, or what they think that they expect. So once again, when you look at Mike, you see his GPA, so good GPA. He can't get into Stanford maybe, but he can get into most schools. Now, the school that he goes to isn't a college prep school. It's a public school in the city, in San Francisco, but they do have decent academics. And the coach, I know the coach, which I'll get to here in a second, who I know is dialed in on these kids' classes and academics too. So one thing that we're going to talk about, you guys, with Mike, because you've seen his size and you've seen the film. And at first glance, you might say, okay, well, why does Mike only have one Division III offer? And I'm going to kind of get into that. And that's part of the reason why he officially joined our program before you go pro. So right here, you guys, remember the variables? I said that we're going to be talking about different variables that can come into your recruiting. So one of the variables that is coming into Michael's recruiting is the school he goes to. Some of you guys don't go to schools that traditionally produce a lot of talent. So we may evaluate you at this level, but maybe your school has never sent a kid to that level. So that means we need to be proactive. Okay. So that's why part of the reason why we got him a part of the program. If you look at his current record, right here, you've got the record at 0-3. So, they didn't get off to a hot start this season. And it's also a school that doesn't traditionally produce a lot of talent, college football talent. So, you can't just expect recruiters to show up. And we're bringing these things up, you guys, because you need to be aware of this. You might be a young man in Texas, and you may have SMU talent, Southern Methodist. You may even get an evaluation from us or somebody else that says, man, yeah, you are an SMU talent, but you're wondering why SMU isn't calling. Well, maybe you're at a school that SMU doesn't go to or traditionally check. Dude, sorry for calling you dude, but do not underestimate that. And this is something that you may only hear on the Recruiting Live show or in the Locker Room show, you guys, but do not underestimate that a lot of these recruiters, you guys, are lazy. They're lazy. Really think about it, you guys. If I'm only recruiting 20 athletes in a recruiting class, and maybe I'm only responsible for the kids at my position. So, maybe I'm the DB coach and I'm really only focused on bringing in 4 or 5 kids. Maybe I have a region. I'm a regional coach and I only got to bring in, 5, 6, 7, 8 kids out of my region. So if I can go to a school that has dogs and that I got a relationship, then guess where I'm going to go? If I could talk to my connection that has a 7-on-7 program or a recruiting program and get some dogs and not have to work hard and travel all over, then guess where I'm going to go? So sometimes kids are underexposed because of the school they're at, you guys, and it's just real. If I'm if I'm a great singer, but I'm in Idaho, I'm not going to have as many bullets in my gun. I'm not going to have as many shots to be in front of talent scouts and agents as the girl in LA, even though I'm better than the girl in LA. Okay. Same thing with football. You may just be at the wrong school. Okay. Glenn, I see the great Glenn Hams. His son played D1 ball. His son played at Marshall. You guys, so he knows sometimes you're a dog, you're just in the wrong spot. So the timeline is going to tell you if you need to get proactive. Okay, so with Michael, we already know what the situation is, because I'm in his backyard. I'm in California. I know the coach he plays for. So I kind of already know he's got D1 size and he's got some great film. Now, Michael is new to football. He's kind of a green canvas because he didn't start till high school. So I know that somebody would be drooling over him, but I also know that he's at a school that doesn't traditionally produce a lot of talent. And then he's in a conference. It's called the AAA conference in San Francisco. He's in a conference, you guys, that doesn't produce talent. So our evaluation, we give all of our athletes an evaluation, and the evaluation is longer than this. It's bigger than this. But I didn't think it was fair to Michael to show you guys his whole evaluation. So this is kind of a snapshot of what the top half of his evaluation looks like. What I can tell you is that we evaluated Michael at a mid to low level FCS level talent, high D2 level talent. I already showed you his slide that he has a Division III offer. So he already has a Division III offer. That's his basement. He knows that he's going to play college football, at least at that level. He joined the program because we felt, I've known him since he was probably a freshman or sophomore, and I've been hearing about him from his coach, who I have a personal relationship with. So his coach and I felt that he was better, that his grades were better, his work ethic was better, his size was better. Nothing against Pacific, the school that has offered him, but we feel like he's better than that. Okay, so that's why the family joined, and that's why they want to try to get some scholarship money. Okay, so we gave him our own grade. We know that he has a Division III offer, but we don't care about that. And you guys need to get an evaluation on your film once you hit the varsity level, especially if you're a 2024 athlete. You don't have any offers yet. If you want us to evaluate you, let me know. But if you don't have a film evaluation, you're kind of shooting in the dark. We don't shoot in the dark with before you go pro, okay? Because nobody has time for that. You're wasting time if you don't know what you're doing, okay? So we have a film evaluation that tells us everything we need to know. And then once we know more about the young man, like this picture, the school he's coming from, then we know how we got to get active. Now, he's got a coach that I can trust his eye. And he tells me, okay, Michael's at least a D2 player, okay? So we already know, you guys, what we're doing. We don't want to misstep, right? So I'm going to show you exactly how we're approaching his recruiting situation. Now, as we move in the recruiting process, I'm going to give you guys tactics, legit specific tactics. But this is the thought process. You got to know the thought process before you know the tactics, okay? Because you could be using the tactics, but the tactics don't work. I could give you the tactics all day, but you're trying to pitch yourself to Ohio State or USC, and you're not Ohio State, USC. So you got to know the thought process, okay? So I'm taking you guys through it right there. We talk variables, right? So when a coach sees his film and they see Michael's size, they're going to say, wow. But then the school, they're going to dig a little bit deeper into the school, and then they may say, okay, it looks like he is maybe an FBS level kid. But then they look at the school and they look at maybe who they're playing against, and then they'll grade you down a little bit. I'm not telling you this because it's fair. I'm telling you this because it happens. And you guys need to know what happens so you can proceed, okay? You need to know if you can get some support. Now, we have relationships, once again, where we can bypass some of that. I can tell a Coach Rondo, hey, I'm close to this young man. I've seen him up close and personal, Coach. And I've already sent kids to Coach Rondo. We've got a strong bridge with Pace University so he can trust it. It's no different than a kid coming from Mater Dei in LA, coming from a Hoover in Alabama, a North Shore in Texas, or a St. Thomas Aquinas in Florida. The coach in college can trust the bridge, okay? So that's how we got to work. That's why we evaluate all of our athletes before we let them in before you go pro, because we got to keep a tight bridge, okay? I can send without a shadow of a doubt Mike to Pace, as long as he's at a 3.1, 3.2. If he dips under that, I can't help him. But I can send him without a shadow of a doubt at Pace. Why? Because we've got the relationship with coach and because we've got the evaluation to prove he's worthy, Okay. Now, let me show you this because this is going to kind of contradict what I just said, but then I'll loop back around so it makes sense to you. Traditionally, you guys, when we're looking at a young man, especially at the high school level, you guys, please hear me. Please hear me. At the high school level, a lot of you guys want to go all over the country. You want to take recruiting trips all over the country. It's not going to go down like that. Unless you are 4 or 5 stars, it's not going to go down like that. And if you're a 2024 athlete right now, you don't really got anything, it's really not going to go down like that. Okay, it's going to be regional. And who cares? You just want to go to a multi-million-dollar university. It's going to be the same experience. It's going to be amazing. So what we know with high school athletes, you guys, is that it's going to be regional. So we already know that the boy is what? He's a high-level D2. I know a lot of D2 schools that will want to jump on Mike. Why? Because of this size right here and the fact he works his tail off. And then we also know, you guys, that because he's a high school kid and he's not a 4 or 5 star, this is going to be where his action's at. This is where his action's going to be at. Now, I just mentioned to you, I could tell Coach Rondo to take Mike, and he would jump on him in a heartbeat. And I may do that, a matter of fact. Mike's about to get his college prospects list. Pace may be on it. Probably not, because it may be a little bit higher academically, but Pace could be on it, okay? If I get into a bind and I feel like things are getting late for Mike, I could call Pace and Coach Rondo do me a solid. But for the most part, Mike is going to be right here. He's going to be right here. So once again, we know that because of his eval. And then we know that because he's a high school kid in California. Okay, we know that he's going to be a regional kid. He's not a 4 or 5 star. Now, based off of his eval, you guys, we know what schools. You see the states right here, but based off of the eval, we know which schools in those states. Okay, because the eval told us what level he can play at. And what we look at before you go pro is we want it to be somewhere where he could play somewhat early. What's somewhat early, Coach Wood? By your sophomore year. By your sophomore year, you're on the field, you know, at least getting a little time in the base defense if you're Mike, and definitely on the special teams, all the special teams, okay? So we felt he could play at high-level D2, maybe low-level FCS, mid-level FCS by his sophomore year. He's running down on kickoff, okay? So now we know the states. We know the states that we're going to focus on, right? So we can move fast from Mike. So really, then you know the schools. If you know the schools or the states and you know the level, then you know the schools. So here's the schools right here that we would focus on for someone like Mike. Now, every once in a while, there'll be some outliers that we can grab because of our relationships. And I know what certain coaches like. Coach Foss, who's on our team, knows what certain coaches like. So every once in a while, we'll call somebody who's an outlier. But for the most part, this is what we're looking at. We told him FCS, right? We told Mike FCS level grade after his film about mid to low level FCS. Well, these are the schools that are mid to low level FCS in these states. These are the schools. Montana, Sac State, Cal Poly, Idaho. I know that Mike's probably watching this live or going to see the recording of this. Weber State, Eastern Washington, Idaho, Northern Arizona. We got great relationships at a lot of these schools. These are the schools at the Division I AA, the FCS level at these states. Okay? So these are schools that we feel based off of his evaluation that he can play at least by his sophomore year. And then what did we say? We said Division II, what? But it's still going to be these states. It's still going to be these states. So Division II, you're looking at Colorado School of Mines, New Mexico, Adams State, Colorado State Pueblo, Chadron, Fort Lewis. We've got kids that play at those schools, and we've got great relationships at those schools. So right there, what? We've really narrowed it down. We've really narrowed it down. Now, once in a while, we'll cherry pick because we've got relationships, but we've narrowed it down. So once again, you guys, the process, if you know the process to getting what you want, then you're going to get what you want. And there is definitely a process, to get to this point. There's definitely a process to get to this point. Now, every once in a while, what did we say? There's a journey. Jacob was working the process when he was at the far left school, where he was at Manteca in the green. He was working the process, you guys. Jacob had all three of these things. And Jacob was on time with the timeline. He had it all, you guys. But he was discounted because of his size. He's only 5'7". So he was better than a lot of people, but for whatever reason, this coach chose the 5'11" kid. This coach chose the 6-foot kid. With Jacob's high school film, and then what he did is he took it to a whole nother level in junior college and became an All-American. But with his high school film, if Jacob was 5'11" or higher, he would have been a Power 5 kid with the same exact high school film, you guys. And the thing that's crazy is right now he's doing everything we knew he would do at UNLV. He's their most dynamic player on offense at UNLV as we speak. If you catch a UNLV game, look up. He's number 21 now. Look for Jacob De Jesus. Everything you see him do, he was doing in junior college and in high school, but he was overlooked. Okay, so it's different for every single athlete. You got to find your path. You got to find your route. We would love to be there every single step of the way. The Recruiting Live Show is a great place for you guys to start, though, every single Tuesday. So once again, make sure that you are subscribed to our channel. We've also got the Locker Room Show on Thursday, where we bring in guests, a wide range of guests, agents, coaches, players, everybody. We've got some special guests coming up every single Thursday. Now, also, you guys, if you are feeling like under recruited, I see some people joining us now. If you're catching this late, you got to run this back. You got to run this back because we're giving away the sauce. A lot of you guys are under recruited and you're going to miss the boat. You're going to be standing at the dock. And you don't deserve to if you work hard, if you got grades, and you got character. You should at least play at some level of college football, whether it's D1 all the way down to NAIA. So you guys need to join us every single Tuesday. Now, if you're feeling like you need some recruiting support, if you're feeling like you're a little bit behind, we would love to help you out. We've got a database that you could be a part of. We only accept 10 athletes every single year at each position. So it only works out to a little over 100 athletes that we work with every single year. So if you do feel like you need extra support, this is the database, you guys, that we send to all of our coaching contacts. The Coach Rondos of the world, the Coach Fullers of the world, the Coach Cormiers of the world. They're the ones that are going to be first up, you guys, to get this college football recruiting database. So if you want to be a part of that, then you definitely need to make sure that you get down with us. So I'm actually going to put the link in the comment section for you. Now we're about to get to the live Q&A. So if anybody has any personal comments, questions about your situation, and now is the time that you want to ask those questions. You may be a parent with a question. You may be a coach with a question. Right there, you guys, I put in the link if you're interested, and you're live with us. If you're watching recording, you're going to have to copy that, write it down, and then do it yourself. You can also go to beforeyougopro.com and then scroll down to the bottom where it says sign up. But that's the link, you guys, if you're interested in getting recruiting support, you guys. And we've been doing this for years. So if you need that help, let us know, and we'd be pleasured to help you out. Also, what comes with that is our membership portal, which has a ton of great content on there for you, either group or one-on-one coaching, and then the football community. And then, like I said, the key thing is that recruiting database. Okay, so there is a process to this. We just went over it tonight. If you're joining us live, you're coming from practice, you're coming from homework, you're catching the end of this, you got to run it back. The Recruiting Live Show, we've had weeks of this, episodes. So run it back, because you may just get the information you need, you guys, to help you land the bag, to help you get to that scholarship offer, that PWO offer. And believe me, as somebody that played college football at a high level, and even if you play D3 NAI, it doesn't matter. It's something you need to experience. It's special. It's special, you guys. So I want you guys to experience it, and that's why we're doing this every single Tuesday. Now, that is it for my portion of the show. Once again, we went over some recruiting advice. We talked about the timeline. We talked about things you need to have in place. Run this back. I would imagine that you guys will want to have a pen and some paper, or run this back on your phone or your laptop or your desktop, okay? So that you guys can get some scholarship. We're going to get more into tactics as we move forward, like literally what to say, template, what to say to a coach when you're reaching out, the best platforms, the whole 9 yards, okay? How to read if a coach is really interested, what to look for when you're on recruiting trips. Some of you guys are about to go on recruiting trips, whether unofficial or official. Do you even know the difference of unofficial or official, or how many recruiting trips you're allowed? The rules changed. The rules recently changed. Do you know how many recruiting trips you're allowed? Okay. So these are things that you guys want to keep in mind. But tonight we talked about the great Michael Zapata, but BYGP athlete, amazing, bright future in front of him. And we broke it down, you guys. So does anybody have any comments, any questions, any concerns? Right now we are in a full evaluation period, you guys. So right now, coaches are watching film. They may have some GA, some grad assistants. Those are the football industry term of an intern, so to speak. They may have assistant coaches watching the film, some of their director or player personnel people watching your film. Pretty soon, you guys, if you haven't already, you're going to start seeing coaches actually at high school, junior college games, prep school games live. So you guys got to be mindful. You got to be mindful. I've seen guys playing around in a locker room. I've seen guys playing around in a parking lot before one of their games, and they didn't even know the coach was watching them from the car. The D1 coach was watching you from the car, and you didn't even know it, or he was talking to your coach, and coach shot you in the foot because he was honest and said that you don't even show up to practice sometimes, or you show up late. You guys, so be mindful. Right now is evaluation period, okay? Make sure your transcripts are ready. Make sure you know what your core course GPA is. If those words or that term seems foreign to you, you need to figure it out. You can reach out to us, or you can go to, like I said, www.ncaa.org and start to figure out some of these keywords and these key terms. You guys know all the keywords and key terms with the video games, all the cheat codes, all the keywords and key terms. When you're talking to the young ladies, you need to know the keywords and key terms when you're trying to get to the recruiting scholarship offer, okay? Because that's one thing I did say about myself is, yeah, I did have some talent. I have multiple offers coming out of high school. And once again, I played at the University of Colorado. But one thing I did not play with, and I'll be utterly honest, my dad would tell you, my friends would tell you, I did not play with the process. I was definitely trying to figure out what the process was and research it and be proficient in what do I have to have in place to get. I wasn't the greatest student in the world, but I knew what I need to have in place to get to Colorado, and I knew what I need to have in place. I was not even on a roll, you guys. I'm be honest with you, but I knew what I need to have in place to get there, and I knew what I need to have in place to stay there. So do you? Okay, so that's what this is all about. I hope you guys get to the top. I hope you guys succeed. I hope you guys enjoy the fruits of your labor. Okay, I love you. So I want to see you guys win. Now, once again, this is our company, and this is what we're all about. All of these young men that you see on the screen, we got personal relationships with. we help them get to the schools that you see on the screen. So if some of these schools look nice, you see Dietrich down there on the bottom with the Valley. That's Mississippi Valley State. That's where Jerry Rice went. That's a HBCU. You see Florida State. You see Cal Poly. I just told you that Cal Poly was on Michael's list, right? So I don't just throw schools out of thin air. We already got 2 kids at Cal Poly, and I'm a dear friend with their coach, their head coach, Coach Wolf, since he's been at Sac State. So we do this. Okay. So hopefully you guys, I put the link in the comment section. I'm gonna throw that baby up again right there. That is the link. If you want to learn more, about how we can help you, definitely attend every Tuesday. We're giving free songs every Tuesday so that you guys can get to college. Does anybody have any questions? Any comments, any concerns, maybe about their own personal recruiting situation? Maybe you're worried or wondering about recruiting trips. Maybe you're wondering what core course GPA is. Maybe you're wondering if you should take this offer that you already have on the table and you're not hearing any other offers, but you're thinking, should I take it before I lose it? All of these things are things that we constantly hear with Before You Go Pro, and that we'll cover every single Tuesday. Okay. So unless anybody has anything for tonight, I am going to let you guys go. And once again, please like and subscribe, share with all of your friends, your teammates. We really try to put forth mindful, thoughtful content to help people learn about succeed in the football industry. So I'm going to give it a countdown. If you have a question, I'd love to answer it. But otherwise, I will see you guys Thursday on the Locker Room Show. That's when the guru comes in, and then we'll bring in an industry guest. You don't know if it's a player, if it's a coach, if it's an NFL guy, college, high school, whatever, but we're going to bring in somebody special for you on Thursday. I got a good feel on who it is already. And if it is this person, if you want to be recruited, you should probably tune in. So that's Thursdays. Okay. Right here, same bat place, same bat channel. All right, you guys. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. If you're catching this late, run it back. Share it with your friends. Share it with your coach. Share it with your teammates. 4. Any comments? 3, 2. Any questions? 1. All right, you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Much love. And we'll see you at the top. See you Thursday on the Locker Room Show. Have a good one.